deserve. So he had a good relation with certain nations, what about it? Let me see where Ammon was. Moab, Moab, right? Moab. Can score up here. It's going to score a little bit. Let me see. Can go up a little bit. Let me see if it's Ammon. Where's Ammon? No, I don't see Ammon. Where's
Okay, I'll get a different map.
Get a different map. Okay. Issue a map with not so much the cities of Israel, but the neighboring territories alongside Israel. Ammon? It is right. It's Ammon right there, right? Ammon, yeah. Ammon was to the east of Gad. Okay, east of Gad and Reuben and tribe of Manasseh. Kind. So all these countries, like Edom and Moab, all those countries were playing. David had garrisons in these territories. Understand? He had garrisons in that would be, like you could say like a military base, more or less. We had Israelite troops there to make sure they were in order, and they would pay tribute to David. Yeah, so that's how David was ruling, like a superpower back in the days. You know what I mean? Israel on top, and this slaughtered the majority of the nations and the garrisons in the territories, and either paid tribute to David. Go.
America does that today. They have little bases set up in the whole world.
Right, just like exactly. America, yeah. America, we got military bases all over the world, keeping a check upon all different nations to make sure they're conforming to their policies. You know what I mean? So that's where they got those ideas from. America got those ideas from. I'll read on.
Verse 3. And the princes of the children of Ammon said unto Hanan their lord, thinkest thou that David doeth honor thy father, that he hath sent comforters unto thee? Have not David rather sent his servants unto thee to search the city and to spy it out and to overthrow it?
Right. So they were suspicious of David. So they said to Hanan, you have Ammon. Do you really think that David sent men to comfort you because he cares about you, or that he respected your father? No. He sent these men here to spy out the land, to see to check up on our weaknesses, to see how we could further subdue this land and make us his servants and pay tribute to him. So they were whispering in Hanan's ear to be suspicious of David and not let his guards down. Read on.
Verse 4. Wherefore Hanan took David's servant and shaved off the one half of their beards, and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away.
Right. So Hanan took the advice, the counsel of those men, and totally humiliated David's servants. Shaved off their beard. You know the beard back then. The beard was a badge of honor. To have someone shave off your beard, it's a major insult. But they do cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks. What do they do?
Embarrassing.
Yeah, shave the garment and then cut a hole in the garment to expose it behind. What they trying to do? Make us look like you gay or something. That was total humiliation. So even to their buttocks, and sent them away. Now how do they expect David to react to this? I mean, for you to take the counsel of your men to do such a thing, you have to know you must be ready for war. So let's see how this plays out. How this played out. Read on.
Verse 5. When they told it unto David, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return.
See that? That's how much of an embarrassment it was, man. Talk, you'd be ashamed. So David said, stay, you know what? Stay at Jericho. Where's Jericho? Let me see what Jericho is. You're coming from Ammon. So let's kind of blow this up. Let me see what Jericho is. You know, Jericho got to be on the east side of, around the walls of Jericho. Got to be on the east side of the River Jordan. Right. So they just stayed on you know, they stayed in Jericho for a while until the bear drew back before they went back to their respective territories, because to go back, that would be total humiliation. Man. It would be an embarrassment to them. They would be ridiculed by the fellow Israelites, whether intentionally or not. Read on.
Verse 6. And when the children of Ammon saw that they stank before David, the children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians of Beth Rehob and the Syrians of Zobah 20,000 footmen, and king of Maacah 1,000 men, and of Ishtar 12,000 men.
Yeah, so they know they're on David's they said that really, I'm saying, now the hit list with an S. You know what I'm saying? So they stick before David. So they know it's wartime now. So what do? They hired some Syrians. They hired some 20,000 footmen from the Syrians. These very Syrians, David has beat up those Syrians. So they hired 20,000 footmen from the Syrians and other military men from the nations round about. Read on, because they were prepared for war now. Read on.
Verse 7. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the host of the mighty men. And the children of Ammon came out and put the battle in array at the entering in of the gates. And the Syrians of Zoab and of Zobah and of Rehob and Ishtar and Maacah were by themselves in the field. When Joab saw that the front of the battle was against him before and behind, he chose of all the men of Israel.
Read it again. He chose of all the choice. Read 9 again.
Verse 9. When Joab saw that the front of the battle was against him before and behind, he chose of all the choice men of Israel and put them in array against the Syrians.
Right. So he saw that he was kind of surrounded by the Syrians. So he chose his top warriors now to confront the Syrians. Understand? He made sure his top warriors were right there on the front line against the Syrian military. Read on.
Verse 10. And the rest of the people he delivered in the hand of Abishai, his brother, that he might put them in array against the children of Ammon.
Right. So the Syrians were fighting on one front, and the Ammonites were fighting on one front against Israel. So David divided his men, in two main companies. One to fight the Syrians, who were a tougher army, and the others he put in a company by his brother to fight the Ammonites. So that's how David divided his men to fight against those two countries, Syria and the Ammonites, the Syrians and the Ammonites. One company was led by Joab, the host of the army, and the other one led by his brother, what's his brother's name? Abishai, right. Verse 11.
Verse 11. And he said, if the Syrians be too strong for me, then thou shalt help me. But if the children of Ammon be too strong for thee, then I will come and help thee.
Right, so basically they've got things coordinated. If the Syrians are too strong for me, you got to come and back me up. And if the Ammonites are too strong for you, then I will come and back you up. Read on.
Verse 12. Be of good courage, and let us play the men for our people, and for the cities of the Most High, of our God. And the Most High do that which seemeth him good. And Joab drew nigh, and the people that were with him unto the battle against the Syrians, and they fled before him. And when the children of Ammon saw,
right, so Joab got his men, and they confronted. They took on the Syrians. The Syrians they fled from the Joab and the Israelites. Read on.
Verse
14.
Verse 14. And when the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fled, then fled they also before Abishai, and entered into the city. So Joab returned from the children of Ammon, and came to Jerusalem. And when the Syrians saw that they were smitten before Israel, they gathered themselves together.
Right, so the Syrians were smitten, and when the Ammonites saw that the Syrians were smitten, they ran away too. So read on. This is what happened now.
Verse 16. And Hadad-Azar sent and brought out the Syrians that were beyond the river, and they came to Helam. And Shobach, the captain of the host of Hadad-Azar, went before him. And when it was told David, he gathered all Israel together and passed over Jordan and came to Helam.
Right, so the Syrians, when they saw that they were defeated, they sent for more of their men as reinforcement to again confront Israel. And David heard of it. And when it was told David, he gathered all Israel together and passed over Jordan. So now all Israel now, so all Israel now passed over Jordan, River Jordan. So most of the tribes on the west of Jordan. So they're all the mighty men are passed over Jordan. Understand? Approaching Ammon now. Read on.
Verse 17.
Read 17. Yeah, read 17.
Verse 17. And when it was told David, he gathered all Israel together and passed over Jordan and came to Helam.
He came to Helam. Where's Helam? Do you see Helam? That's all right. Read on.
And the Syrians set themselves in array against David and fought with him.
Right, the Syrians set themselves in array against David and fought with him. No, Syria is further north, right? Syria is further north. Well, they were probably in the land of Ammon anyway. So I read on.
Verse 18. And the Syrians fled before Israel, and David slew.
No, read it again.
17?
18.
18. Verse 18. And the Syrians fled before Israel.
Right. And the Syrians fled before Israel. Even after they got reinforcement to fight Israel again, after being defeated the first time, they fled once again. Read on. And
David slew the men of 700 chariots of the Syrians, and 40,000 horsemen, and smote Shobach, the captain of their host, who died there.
Right, so David slaughtered the Syrians again. Read on.
And when all the kings that were servants to Hadarezer saw that they were smitten before Israel, they made peace with Israel and served them. So the Syrians feared to help the children of Ammon anymore.
Right, so the Syrians say, yo, you guys brought me bad luck, and right now I ain't going to help you no more. So the Syrians feared to help the children of Israel anymore. All right, that's chapter 10. We verse chapter 11 now.
2 Samuel, chapter 11 and verse 1. And it came to pass, after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon, and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem.
Right, so they were waging a lot of war against Ammon. Man. They tried to make peace with Ammon. Ammon didn't want to listen. Ammon got proud and puffed up and humiliated David's soldiers. So now they were stinking in front of David. David's face. So David was waging war against Ammonites, put them in captivity, in bondage, paying a tribute to David. Read on.
Verse 2, and it came to pass in an evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof.
And it came at an eventide, basically in the evening of the sundown. Read on. That David rose from off his bed. Read on.
And walked upon the roof of the king's house, and from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon.
Right, so David was, kind of got bored. Because the war was being fought someplace else, but he was still in Jerusalem. Joab and the army was in Ammon, killing of the Ammonites. But David got bored and he was saying, yeah. It must have been a cool day, cool night. So let me take a walk on the rooftop and see what's going on in Israel. And spy out the land, observe the beauty of the land. But it's in observing the beauty of the land, he saw something that was more beautiful than the land. He saw a woman washing herself, naked woman. Wow, so I guess he was fixated on that. Read on.
Verse 3, and David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, the wife of Uri the Hittite?
David went to inquire, sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the daughter of Uriah the Hittite? So they let David know her lineage and that she was somebody's wife. Because he saw this beautiful woman and said, damn, I want to get with her. So I said, yeah, who's that woman? Yeah, she's found fear in my eyes. Well, that's what David, she's not her man's wife. She's Uriah the Hittite's wife. Let's see what David did after that. Read on.
And David sent messengers and took her, and she came in.
See, David told that she was another man's wife, but he sent messages and took her anyway. And she came. Read on.
And David sent messengers and took her. And she came in unto him, and he lay with her.
Right? And David sent messengers and took her and escorted her to David. And she came in unto him. Yeah, he's a king. She's another man's wife, but he's a king. So the king sent for her. So I don't know, maybe she was kind of starstruck or something. Or maybe she was bored too because her husband was away fighting. You know, so evil spirits jumped in both of them, both in David and in her. And she went to David and he lay with her. Read on.
For she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived and sent and told David, and said, I am with child.
So she got pregnant from that encounter with David, from laying with David, and she told David that she was pregnant. Read on.
And verse 6, and David sent to Joab, saying, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David.
So David now, realizing that Bathsheba was pregnant with his seed, his child, because Uriah was at war, so Uriah couldn't have done that. So now David sent to Joab, the captain of the host of the army, and said, send me Uriah the Hittite. So Joab sent Uriah the Hittite to David. Read on.
Verse 7, and when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. And David said to Uriah, go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mesh of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house.
So now David trying to set up Uriah. See, So he sent for Uriah to pretending to be inquiring of him how the war was proceeding. But really just wanted Uriah to come back so Uriah can go back to his wife and lay with her, and claim the baby. Like in Jamaica, they call it a jacket. You know what I mean? When the wives keep with another man and get conceived by that man, they come home to you and sleep with you. You think it is your child, but it's really another man's child. That's what David was trying to do right there. Have Uriah sleep with his wife, and then have Uriah believe, with the intention of having Uriah believe that the child conceived is really his, when it's in fact David's child. But Uriah, the spirit of the Most High was in Uriah that he felt guilty leaving his men at war, leaving his soldiers at war, and he gets to go home to his wife. When his fellow soldiers on the trenches fighting the enemies. So David gave him a lot of food and all that to go back to home, but he just slept in the outer court of the king's palace. He didn't go home. Read.
Verse 10. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, David said unto Uriah, Camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thine house? And Uriah said unto David, the ark of Israel and...
Read again, 11 again.
Verse 11. And Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into my house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife, as thou livest, and as thy soul liveth, I will not do this thing.
Right, so this man is very humble.
That's a warrior.
That's a warrior.
You know what I'm saying? The Ark of the Covenant and Israel and Judah abide in tents. Everybody's in tent in the battlefield. How am I going to feel? Now I'm supposed to go to my house to be comfortable and lie with my wife. When my fellow Israelites, whether he's not an Israelite, a Hittite. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? His fellow lords, his fellow soldiers are exposed or are in danger, and their lives are in danger. I can't do that. As the Lord liveth, I will not do that. Read on.
Verse 12. And David said to Uriah, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at eve he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his lord, but went not down to his house.
Right, so he made him eat and drink. David, Uriah eat and drink, stayed with him another couple of days, gave him a little feast, eat and drink, wine and all that, but it still didn't go down to his house. Read.
Verse 14. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab, and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter, saying, set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. And
so now David, what happened? David saw his plan A wasn't working. The plan A was to have Uriah go down and sleep with his wife, and then and claim the child, and inadvertently claim the child to be his. But that wasn't working because the spirit one, the most I put in Uriah was that it was a spirit of loyalty to his fellow soldiers, where he very couldn't do that. He would feel guilty to be living in comfort while his fellow soldiers are in danger. So that didn't work. So David wrote a letter. That's how wicked that deed was. He wrote a letter to the captain of the host, Joab, and gave the same letter. The same letter he gave to Uriah, the Hittite, to tell Joab to put Uriah in the front line. So I don't know if he told Joab so
It says
so he died. But that was the intent of the letter.
Yeah.
Everybody says that.
That was the intent of the letter. So he died because put him in the front line, so he died. I don't know if he told himself put him there so he could get killed. Maybe he didn't actually say that. But said probably made it sound as if hey, he's a strong soldier. How can I hype him up? He's a good soldier, and he will do it for Israel. So I want to put him in the very front line because he will represent well. But knowing fully that he wants him to be in the front line because he's going to be killed. Go ahead.
Yeah, in Numbers 32, when the children of Gad and Reuben wanted to stay on the other side, Moses told them that shall your mothers go to war?
Right.
And you sit right here, but this brother, he wanted to be among his soldiers.
Right.
So you see, what I'm saying is that David, because he uses the loyalty of the soldier to kill that soldier.
Right. Exactly. I read on.
Verse 16. And it came to pass, when Joab observed the city, that he assigned Uriah unto a place where he knew that valiant men were. And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab. And there fell some of the people of the servants of David. And Uriah the Hittite died also.
Right. So Joab observed where the battle was hot. And he said, this is where we need more valiant soldiers. And he brought Uriah the Hittite along with other men on that front line. And some of them got killed. Men that David's men and Uriah the Hittite also. So David's plan B worked. Uriah the Hittite got killed. You know?
Verse 18. Then Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war, and charged the messengers, saying, when thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king, and if so be that the king's wrath arise, and he say unto thee, wherefore approach ye so nigh unto the city when ye did fight? Know ye not that they would shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal? Did not a woman cast a piece of a milestone upon him from the wall, that he died in the Thebez? Why went ye nigh the wall? Then say thou, thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So the messenger went and came and showed David all that Joab had sent him for. Verse 23. And the messenger said unto David, surely the men prevailed against us, and came out unto us in the field, and we were upon them even unto the entering of the gate. And the shooters shot from off the wall upon thy servant, and some of the servants, the king's servants, be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Verse 25. Then David said unto the messenger, thus shalt thou say unto Joab, let not this thing displease thee, for the sword devoureth one as well as another. Make thy battle more strong against the city, and overthrow it, and encourage thou him.
Right. So seemingly David had told Joab that to deliberately expose Uriah to the point that he may be killed, because now Joab was concerned of David's reaction when the report was to be given to David as to why many of his Israelites would be killed. So Joab deliberately told the messenger said, hey, when he gave the report to David, and David was to complain as to why did he go so close to the battle? Why did you take the battle so far into them? Why? I mean, don't you recall what happened in previous battles? Our men that is killed by these people. So Joab said, when David started complaining about why we expose our men so much, just let him know that Uriah the Hittite also got killed. And that's exactly what the messenger did when he told David. To the point that instead of being upset that the Israelites got killed in the battle, no, David was actually encouraging Joab. He's actually encouraging Joab, which is exactly the reaction that Joab knew he was going to get once they mentioned that Uriah was killed in the battle. Which led me to believe that, it's like David told Joab to have him killed, basically have him killed. Because Joab knew that David would be happy to know that Uriah got killed in the battle. Possibly at this point, the news might have gotten out, you know what I mean? Probably leaked out that David was sleeping with Uriah's wife. Some of the men were probably privy to that information, even though the general population didn't know. I read on.
Verse 26. And when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, was dead, she mourned for her husband. And when the mourning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife.
See that? She mourned for her husband, then David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife. First step, the man's wife got her pregnant, then got him killed, then she became your wife. So basically, you killed that man so you could have his woman, and hide the fact that she was carrying your seed. Because if it wasn't killed, the adultery would have been known, which was punishable by stoning, a death. So King David was guilty of a crime punishable by death. But instead of him being punished, he made sure that the innocent man got killed. Read on.
Verse 27. And when the mourning was past, and David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife, and bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Most High.
Right, the Most High saw the wickedness that David did. Let me see.
We got 31 verses.
All right. I think we've got to probably conclude there. Let's conclude there. I read about coming from 7 to 11. 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 5 chapters, right?
Yeah.
That's 4 chapters.
No,
4 chapters?
We read 7.
We read 7.
7, 8, 9, 10,
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 5. It's 5 chapters.
You started from 8.
Yeah, I went 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, now we started at 7. I mean, I got it in me to go on 12.
Finish, Chef?
It's getting juicy.
I want to keep it suspense.
Okay,
For next. What's our word for next?
When you analyze it, that's some wicked stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's some duplicate stuff.
That was yeah.
Even for a king.
You have admitted
That was like premeditated murder.
You have to admit that that was to fight for you.
Yeah.
Right. Wouldn't even go to his wife. For you.
Yeah, just so he can fight for the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He says that Israel is intense, Judah is intense. So pretty much because I remember when you read history, during World War II, MacArthur and the president, they had this fighting together.
Right.
I forget his name. He was he used to wear glasses. He was the one that ends segregation in the army.
Okay.
The U.S. president at that time, they had this fight within them together. At that time, MacArthur was the one in charge of Japan.
Okay.
So pretty much they do. You see, you saw the fight, but now you see a man who volunteers to fight for the fight. And now this is the way that they
that's how David rewarded him. By sleeping with his wife and having him killed.
Yeah, Harry Truman.
Howard Truman.
Oh. Yeah.
It's like a woman, once she comes into an Israelite man's life, like she can change his life for the better or sometimes for the worse. Like when a woman steps into it, and with child, because a lot of things changed with David once he heard she was pregnant. He was moved to like, I have to do something about this. You know, sometimes it's for the better, like, hey, I got my family, we're good, we're gravy, you know, and sometimes it can be for the worse. You have to be wise with your selection of.
All right, let's read chapter 12. Finish up chapter 12, yeah.
2 Samuel, chapter 12, and verse 1. And the Most High sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him, and said unto him, there were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor.
Right, so that's the Most High now sending the prophet Nathan to speak to David. So Nathan was putting like a riddle to David, speaking to David in the form of like a riddle. Read on.
Verse 2. The rich man had exceeding many flocks of herds, but the poor man had nothing, save one little ewe lamb, which he had brought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter.
Right, so the analogy or the story or that Nathan was putting to David was one rich man and a poor man. The poor man had nothing, the rich man had everything. You know what I mean? So now let's see what that plays out.
Verse 4. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spread to the take of his
And he spared
to take of his own flock and of his own herd, to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him.
Right. So now this poor man only had one flock, one sheep. He said that the rich man got a flock of sheep. So now there was a sojourner in the land with a company with him. And instead of now taking feeding his entourage with food from the rich man who had many flocks, he took instead from the poor man who had only one. Read on.
Verse 5. And David's anger was kindled against the man.
Read it again. Verse 5.
Verse 5. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man. And he said to Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die.
So David now, we know he got a just spirit in him. Said, because prior to this situation, David was always, bringing about a righteous judgment in Israel. So when Nathan brought this analogy or story to David, David was angry and said that man who did that to that poor man shall surely be put to death. Read on.
Verse 6. And he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man.
And now David said, thou art the man. David said, I didn't do that. Like he thought himself, but of course David realized what Nathan was telling him. Nathan said unto David, thou art the man. Read on.
Verse 7. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man. Thus saith the Most High Power of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul. And I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Most High to do evil in his sight, and hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon.
David thought it was what he did in secret was hid. Understand? So Nathan let him know, you are that man. Understand? Uriah only had one wife. He was just a soldier. He had only one wife. You had many wives. I even gave you Saul's wives. And if you even wanted more, I'm going to give you more. So why do you slay that one man? Say that man took his wife to be your wife. When I bless you with so many. Read on.
Verse 10. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife.
Now, see that? Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. So most of it was letting David know there's always going to be turmoil in your household. Maybe not to David personally all his life, but there's going to be turmoil in the household. Because of what? He brought turmoil in an innocent man's house. So because of that, the same thing is going to come back to him. Read.
Verse 11. Thus saith the Most High, Behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this son. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel, and before the sun.
So yeah, it's a punishment that the Most High will meted out to David, or bring violence and turmoil in your life against thee out of thine own house. And I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun, in open. For thou didst it in secret, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. That's the punishment the Most High, it's part of the punishment that the Most High meted out to David because of the transgression that he committed with the situation with Uriah and Uriah's wife. Read on.
Verse 14. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Most High to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die. And Nathan departed unto his house, and the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. David therefore besought the Most High for the child, and David fasted and went in, and lay all night upon the earth. And the elders of the house arose and went to him, to raise him up from the earth. And he would not, neither did he eat bread with them. Verse 18. And it came to pass on the seventh day that the child died. And the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him. And he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead?
Right, so the Most High told him, your son is going to be, your child is going to be killed. And just like that while David was going back to his house, news was brought to him that your son is sick. He tried to fast. The most I told you, your son is going to be killed. What's the purpose of you fasting?
And Nathan is gangster too. It says that in 15, and Nathan departed unto his house. So he just said it and left.
Yeah. Nathan said it's
Die.
done. It is done. It's done. Consider it done. The most I said it, so shall it be. And then Nathan just departed. He didn't want to hear nothing from David. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. He did. This is what he did. This is a judgment on you. That's it. You just got to deal with it. And David was fasting and praying and all that.
Laying on the ground.
To no avail, because the most he didn't want to eat anything. He was mad at his servants. The servant, they're scared to tell him that the child is dead, because David was upset with them before, and through no fault of theirs. But because it's king, they were afraid to talk to him and let him know, hey, yeah, your son is dead, because if he was as mad as he was before when the child was alive, can you imagine how upset he's going to be now that the child is dead? Read on.
Verse 19. But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead.
Yeah, so David realized that, he read the spirit and saw, hey, the child is dead. Read on.
Therefore, David said unto his servants, is the child dead? And they said, he is dead. Then David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of the Most High and worshipped. Then he came to his own house, and when he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat.
So he accepted the judgment. He repented to the Most High, went to the house of the Most High, and repented to the Most High, and then went home, and then eat. So I guess he had no choice but to accept the judgment. Read on.
Verse 21. Then said his servants unto him, what thing is this that thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for the child, while it was alive. But when the child was dead, thou didst rise and eat bread.
Yeah, see, they couldn't understand why David was like that. Because, he was fasting and weeping for the child when the child was alive. But now that the child is dead, it's like David has like a weight just came up his shoulder. Yeah, they thought it would have been weeping and wailing and lamenting. But David accepted the punishment that the Most High put on him, the judgment that the Most High rendered against him. And but the servant couldn't understand it, because they weren't really privy to what was really going on. What the judgment was that Nathan had told David would happen to him. Read.
Verse 22. And he said, while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, who can tell whether the Most High will be gracious to me, that the child may live? But now he is dead. Wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. And David comforted Bathsheba his wife, and went in unto her, and lay with her. And she bare a son, and called his name Solomon. And the Most High loved him.
Right, so she the son died. David accepted his fate, accepted what happened. Then he went and comforted his wife Bathsheba, and then he went to lay with her, and she conceived and brought forth Solomon. Read on.
Verse 24. And David comforted.
25.
Verse 25. And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called his name Jedediah, because of the Most High. And Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon, and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David, and said, I have fought against Rabbah, and taken the cities, and have taken the city of waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together, and encamp against the city, and take it. lest I take the city and it be called after my name.
Right, so Joab basically totally subdued the Ammonites, taking and made the city a city of water. But he wanted David to get the credit because he knew that it worked out that it was Joab who actually was leading the host to the battle and took him to the city. He was gonna get just like in the time of Saul when David was slaying those Philistines. He was the one who got the credit. All the songs they were singing about David killed 10,000, and Saul killed thousands. And so Joab realized, the same thing's gonna happen again if you don't get yourself together and come and take the city, so it can be taken in your name, so you get the glory. Right?
Verse 29. And David gathered all the people together and went to Rabbah and fought against it and took it. And he took their king's crown from off his head, and weight whereof was a talent of gold with the precious stones, and it was set on David's head. And he brought forth the spoil of the city in great abundance. And he brought forth the people that were therein, and put them under saws and under.
So slaughtered the Ammonites, probably kill the king. He took his crown. You don't take a king's crown unless you cut off his head. So the Ammonite was killed, and he brought forth, he took a lot of spoils from them, and he brought forth the people that were therein, and put them on the saws. What does that mean, put them on the saws?
Put them under, you said sauce?
Read it.
Verse 31. Will we read it or you
Read it. What do you read?
2 Samuel 12 and 31.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought forth the people that were therein, and put them under saws, and under arrows of iron, and under axes of iron, and made them pass through the brickland. And thus did he unto all the cities of the children of Ammon. So David and all the people returned to Jerusalem.
What does that mean?
They killed them.
You kill them. Put them on the saws, man.
Iron.
You ever go to the supermarket? And when at a meat shop, the butcher shop, when they got a little machine running, I do just like put like a turkey leg, and just a piece of meat, I just run it through. They run it through and they just cut it. That's you can just imagine that it's something similar to that. We just run them through the saws, man. It's and the axes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know what I mean? So that's what they would do. They was cut them up like that there was meat.
Yeah.
It was David was cold. It was the cold-hearted warrior when it comes to fighting the enemy. Read it again. And he brought forth the people that were therein and put them on the saws.
Mm-hmm.
Put them on the saws. So it was like a high technology right there. Put them on the saws. The saws are going, you know what I mean? Like it's automated and all that. And on the horrors of iron. And on the axes of iron. And made them pass through the brick kiln. What's a brick kiln? What's that? Look it up. Made them pass through. So that they pass through like see what that is. Brick kiln. BRICKKILN. Brick kiln. He made him pass through that. What does it say? BRICKKILN.
Okay. All right. It says brickland, a kiln in which bricks are baked or burnt. A pile of green bricks achieve arch to receive underneath the fuel of burning them.
So you made it pass through the fire. You made it pass through the fire. So like they passed through the big brick hill. Or like okay, like a brick is like baked to get hardened. So like you know, you have clay, and then the clay is like formed in the shape of bricks. But to further harden the bricks so they can endure over periods of time and not decay, not fall apart, they would apply fire to it to harden it. So that must be what so David would pass through the fire, a furnace that the bricks would pass through.
Right.
They would have those men pass through that fire, the brick kiln.
Something like this.
Is that what that is? Probably.
It looked like the fire inside and you walk through.
Right.
All right. The biblical definition says a furnace in which bricks are baked or burnt, or a pile of bricks laid loose with arches underneath to receive the wood or fuel.
What about this one?
So they're able to put the bricks into that and
Mhm.
bake it. And
Right.
then with the arches, they was able to take it back out once it I guess, hardened or
Right.
got
So
burnt.
he says burnt those men. I'm pretty sure they would cut
Yeah, he cut them up, he burned
them up, burn them up, and pass through the brick kiln. And thus did he unto all the cities of children of Ammon. So David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem. And so David was very cold to the Ammonites in particular, and the Philistines, man. And then, yeah, the Philistines cut out the buttocks of the Israelites, and shaved their face, and humiliated David's servants. When all David was trying to do was offer his friendship to them because of the respect for his father.
They said that I guess that's where Hitler got his idea for doing that. When he was killing Amalek, he would kill them. Either he would put them in the gas chamber, or he would kill them, or he would put them in that furnace. They'll die, and they'll never see them come out of that furnace again.
Probably. Okay, that concludes chapter 12. Most I willing, we will resume in chapter 13. Okay. So we saw how David committed adultery with Uriah's wife, the Most High judged him for that, and killed his son that was conceived. And then David comforted his wife Bathsheba, and he got a son, Solomon, from the union. And so Most High willing, we conclude chapter 13. And Madiam Wapanya, Jerusalem, stand to face Jerusalem. So is that a question?
No questions. But someone did say
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
Yeah, we know him.
How was everything going on?
When our ox that come down, I think he in Palm Beach. Yeah.
They should be here for tomorrow for the shot for the council.
Once it's up. We can wait for
And Madiam Wapanya, Jerusalem, stand up as Jerusalem. Psalms 133. Shayar, Hama Aiwa, Ladawad, Ana, Ma, Tawa, Wama, Naayam, Shabbat, Akyam, Gam, Yakad, Kashaman, Hatawa, Al, Araash, Yarad, Al, Azakwan, Aharan, Shayarad, Al, Paya, Marawak, Yawad, Katal, Karamwan, Shayarad, Araria, Tazayawan, Kaya, Sham, Tazawa, Yahawa, Abaraka, Kayawam, Aiwalam, Bahasham, Amashiyah, Yahushai, the water, Aman.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded the blessings, even life forevermore. Bahashem Amashiach Yahawashai, the water Tamyad, Man. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Done. The water Yahweh Shamash Gawashai. The water to all of Israelites logging in on live stream, YouTube, conference calls. Don't forget tomorrow, the Most High willing, we have Hebrew class starting at 11 o'clock a.m. And then after that we'll have the Shabbat service starting about 12 noon by Shamash Gawashai. Shabbat Shalom, Yeshua.